to the comic multiverse where the worlds of nerd meet. Matt, it's episode 201. It's a brand new universe. It's a brand new multiverse, if you will, complete with some brand new assets made by you. They're very nice.
Thank you, thank you. It's a very, very kind of spur of the moment thing. I'm like, I'm gonna change up most of the assets we use.
I like it took us, 201 episodes, but we're finally embracing the spacey theme. I feel like I should also change the assets on iTunes and SoundCloud too, because I've had the same ones that I swore forever. Oh, these will be placeholders so I can pay an artist to do a good one, and then I never did.
Isn't that like how they go in TV shows where it's like you get to a certain episode and it's like, oh, now we're in space.
Yep, that's officially where we are now. We are in comic multiverse, the space years. We're on a long trek across these stars, a wagon train, if you will, finding new life out there, and I don't know, blowing it up or something.
Yeah, blowing up planets or something. Not interfering with the Prime Directive or something.
Gotta nuke something. Gotta nuke them space whales. Yeah, that's me and Matt. We're really more like what is it? We're less Starfleet, and we're more like Galactus, eating planets, gaining their power.
Yep.
I think officially now at 201 episodes, we can start, going around cyberspace and eating smaller, weaker podcasts and bringing them into ourselves.
Absorbing them, kind of like how EA does to game companies.
There you go. The comic multiverse, the vampire of podcasts. Comic multiverse, the destroyer of worlds. Look upon us and weep, for we are the shadows that cast a shadow on darkness itself. Welcome to the show, everybody. How's your week been, Matt? Mine's been both really hardworking as I try and, dig through my massive piles of videos, and also as I sit back and look at it, wow, I didn't get fuck all done also.
Yep, yeah, I'm exactly the same. Yesterday I recorded a record 10 videos.
Nice.
In one day. Between all of that, I've also been playing the Avengers Beta.
Nice. Yeah, you got into that. I didn't. You and Tiff from Comic Pop did, and I kind of watched it through you guys and then got very, very jealous.
It's very awesome and quite extensive for a beta.
Yes, that's what I saw. Like, there's like a boss fight in there and everything. Holy shit.
There's like 2 boss fights. There's a total of 16 missions. Does that include? I think that includes like the special secret mission that you got to unlock that no one really knew about and people just kind of stumbled on.
Nice. Also, thank you, Pat Senior, for hosting the show there. That's always appreciated.
Thank
Pat,
you.
of course, always there for Capes and Quests every other Thursday, so it's nice to see him come over here too.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. I'm hyped for Avengers more now that I got to see other people play it and enjoy it. What was your favorite piece of gear? Because it's also a gear-based thing now.
Ooh, there are so many good things. Like, yeah, the gears, I did a video on the gear, and the gear, like, obviously you got different, it changes your stats, but it also has, like, different buffs. Like, you can give Iron Man, like repulsors that deal gamma damage, for against gamma foes, or like it can do like graviton resistance and stuff and all that sort of stuff. There's one as well that turns, I think it was after a couple of heavy attacks, it shrinks the enemy with the pim particles, and it actually shrinks them, and they're like very small.
That's very clever. As Iron Man 2, do you have to, fly away from hazards like booze bottles? Because if he flies into them, he can't help himself.
Oh no, he's hit the booze bottles.
And as Hank Pym, who I'm sure will be DLC, I'm sure, every so often you got to do a quick time event to not hit your wife. Because if you do, it's game over. And that's a problem. That's what I want. Superpowers, but also super weaknesses across the board. That looks really fun. I can't wait to give that a try. You said next week they might be having like an even bigger beta that I might get a chance to get in on.
Yeah, I think next week is the open beta. It's either the closed or the open beta, because I know they've got a week coming up before the game goes live that it's just an open beta. You just sign up and join.
And it comes out very, very soon, too, the game.
Yeah, first week of September, I do believe.
Hot damn. Hot damn. Well, I mean, it's not like we're going to have anything else to do in this hellscape of a time we're in. It's not like we're not all going to be stuck inside anyway.
Yeah, you got that. You can play that, and you can play Fall Guys.
Oh yeah, yeah. Everyone's talking about Fall Guys too. It looks cute and interesting, and
It's
everyone
fucking
was playing
great.
it this week.
It's great. You
Yeah,
get a couple of friends together, start drinking, and just play. It's like the
yeah,
type of battle royale game I like.
yeah. Party game. That's cool. It's nice to know that caught everyone's attention because this clearly wasn't like some big AAA thing. This was like a smaller thing that caught everyone by storm, which I always like to see.
Hence why their servers keep getting like fucking DDoS because
Oh,
everyone wants to play it and they weren't ready for the number of people, so they've had to always keep bringing the game down to put more servers on and everything.
oh, that's a heartbreaker.
Hmm.
Speaking of video games, too, I didn't put this on our list of topics for this week, and I feel like a goon that I didn't, but we officially know what the next Rocksteady game is going to be. It's not a new Batman game like everyone and their mother thought it was. It's going to actually be the Suicide Squad game that everyone else also thought was going to happen for a while, then never did, but now is.
Yeah, well, it was teased what all the way back in like Arkham Origins or something.
Oh, yeah, forever and ever ago now.
Yeah, and looks like their target is probably going to be the Justice League, with Superman being their first target.
That's setting your sights kind of high, guys. Don't you think? Maybe you should go a little lower, like oh, maybe like Kite Man, and work your way up from there.
Yeah, yeah. I did theorize that maybe it could be like he's under control and the Suicide Squad have been brought in to try and subdue him, or it
Right.
could they could be like a complete swerve and it could be Bizarro.
Oh, that would be fun too. I actually quite enjoy that.
Yeah.
I guess we know nothing of how the game is going to play. I know I pitched forever and ever that if they did a Suicide Squad game, I would want it to be like a big four-person co-op Borderlands style affair where everyone plays a certain role and you help each other out and everything. I doubt that's what they're going to do.
Well, see, I don't know because it's prime for like multiplayer, and
Yeah,
with and
because it's a
with
team.
and with Avengers coming out, it could be seen as a competition to that.
Mm-hmm.
Like, because it would be very similar.
What was the Ninja Turtles game? I don't think it was great. I think it was the Platinum one, but it had a very fun idea where you played as all the Ninja Turtles simultaneously, and if you press the face button, you would actually get to turn into a different one,
Oh
and they were
yeah,
all suited for different things.
yeah, yeah.
That would be a cool thing. Like, ooh, I'm Deadshot. I can, shoot all these goons. Then it's like, oh, swap out with like, Captain Boomerang because you need his boomerang to hit a switch or something.
Mhm.
Become Harley Quinn to platform because Harley Quinn's going to be in it.
Yeah, yeah. Of course, of course.
She makes the money.
Yeah.
She pays the bills over there. So why wouldn't it be her? Plus, she has a big TV show
Mhm.
that's on HBO right now.
Yeah.
But yeah, Suicide Squad game sounds cool. Also, too, I wonder because you're playing villains in this one and not heroes. Do you think they're going to take this opportunity to really up the content thing? Do you think this is going to be like an M for Mature rated DC game now?
It could be, but as well, I could see them wanting to keep it in line with like the other Arkham games.
Which were very dark and very
Hmm.
adult in tone, but everyone could still play them.
Yeah, yeah.
Yeah. So there's definitely places to go for that. But yeah, I never thought the Suicide Squad would be so cachet now that they would get a game announcement. And they got this, and then we also got to see the poster for the James Gunn movie, and it looks very cool and retro and very like A-Team.
I love it. Love it.
I love it too.
Yeah, I think his
Excited.
movie is going to be very good.
I hope so, and I certainly think so. And hey, we're probably going to get more information in that DC fandom. And yes, I'm still going to call it the fandom. You can't stop me.
Yeah, fandom.
Fandom. In fact, if I knew anything about art, I would be drawing the fandom who just goes and horse whips people when they're not being good fans, or maybe when they are being good fans. I don't know the lore of
It's
the
just Dan
fandom
DiDio.
yet. It's just Dan DiDio. What do you mean you want Nightwing bad? You get a whipping. Oh no, Dan DiDio in leather pants. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
Oh no. And a domino mask. Oh
Oh
no.
no.
The fandom is coming for you in a couple months or in a month. When is that again? I keep forgetting. It's August, isn't it?
Yeah, it's in 2 weeks. 22nd of August.
Right. You figure they got to have some big announcements for that, right? Because, everything else got scuttled and every other chance they had to talk about
Well,
anything.
they released like the guest list that had most of the people, and it had people like Robert Pattinson, Matt Reeves is going to be there with his Batman film, like all these big names, and as well as
Yeah.
like big names in comics and stuff. Because I imagine they're going to announce quite a bit in comics there.
Indeed, which will be a weird show for sure. It's like, hey, here's all these things we hope you can see at some point in a movie theater, but maybe not. Maybe we'll be stuck in our homes for a little longer. We can't be sure. Maybe you can see it in New Zealand, though. New Zealand seems to have their shit together.
Yeah, we do as well. We've had no new cases in the last couple of weeks, so
That's good. Canada seems like it almost has it under control, and then like you hear some shit where it's like, yeah, some dumb teenagers had a party and it spiked again. Ah, fuck.
yeah, we've got one state here that just won't stop. Like every day they're recording something like 400 new cases. So every other state's like, yeah, we're just gonna shut our borders to everyone, and anyone who comes over goes to jail.
I love that 2020 is the year that really proved to me everything I thought I knew from science fiction and alien invasion movies was totally fucking wrong. Because you watch something like Independence Day and it's like, no, the world comes together to fight an evil threat, and all the old rivalries and stuff are thrown aside to fight a bigger evil because the race human is the most important. Then it's like, no, man, you can't even trust people to wear fucking masks so other people don't get sick in the real world. That ain't happening.
Yeah, Logan Paul will throw a fucking block party just cause.
Fucking, was it Logan Paul or was it Ninja who said where it's like, well, there's so much misinformation out there about the virus, it's not going to stop me from living my life. You motherfucker.
You said it was either or. Is there a difference? Is there
No,
a difference?
I can't tell the difference. Talk about the modern influencer equivalent of, let them eat cake. And yes, I know Marie Antoinette didn't actually say let them eat cake, but still it stands as the ultimate, thing for being like, what you really don't fucking know how regular people live. And that's the one.
Yeah,
Also,
they're
didn't they, like,
so out of touch.
look, as a professional Fortnite player, I think I know more about medicine and infectious diseases.
Of course, yeah.
Because I am myself an infectious disease. Joel, starting YouTube drama yet again. 201 episodes in, and I know no one important watches this show. I can say whatever I want. I'm running wild. Going rogue again. But yeah, that Suicide Squad news is pretty interesting. And I guess, too, to circle back to what you're talking about the Avengers game, Spider-Man will be in the game as DLC, but only for PlayStation 5, and that made a lot of people very upset.
It made a lot of people upset, so much so that the developers had to come out and say this wasn't our choice.
Call.
It was like Sony, and like all those people wanted him in there, and we had to they were mandated he had to be in there.
Which happens all the time for console exclusive characters and everything. I mean, I think it's an easy fix personally. Xbox, they get an exclusive one too, but just to really rub some salt in the wound, make it a lame character, make it the lamest Marvel character you can think of, and they can have that one.
Like Explodey Boy from that X-Men book recently, or who's the guy with all the eyes in X Factor?
Oh, iBoy.
Yeah, iBoy, him.
You get iBoy, or you can also get, who's another limb? Oh, you get Jack of Hearts, the guy who's been dead for so long. The most interesting thing he did was die, and no one remembers him.
Yeah, it was blow up in the Avengers mansion.
You get that guy just for Xbox. That would be funny. Also, too, that kind of gave me a bit of a sigh moment where it's like, the game's coming out soon, but you're telling me I'm probably going to have to rebuy it again on the PlayStation 5? That's good to know.
No, I think this is one of those games where you get a free upgrade. Because there's a select number of games that it'll work on the PlayStation 5.
That's good.
I think, because I know like Cyberpunk has it. I believe Ghost of Tsushima has it.
Nice.
There was another one. I think it might have been Avengers. I might be wrong, but I'm pretty sure it was. Because it makes sense. It makes sense.
Yeah, as they should. More free upgrades, please. More just upgrades across the board. Did they ever confirm it, or is this just shit I dreamed? But PlayStation 5, they're going to try and work in some sort of PS2 emulation. Did I just dream that?
I think that was like the rumor, like they were going to make it backwards compatible or something with certain games or something. I think that might have just been like a rumor spread by someone who wants that, and I mean, who doesn't want that?
Yeah, I want to play Def Jam Fight for New York, and I want to play all these games that they're never going to re-release or remaster due to due to licensing problems.
Yeah, I want to play more Need for Speed Underground 2.
There you go. Absolutely. I want to play all of those that I can't. Yeah, there you go. There's a little video game news, everyone. There, they'll talk about what we've been playing. I'm sure we'll be able to mention this more. Again, if I can get in on that Avengers beta, I'd love to play something or record something for the channel about it, even though I know the last time I tried to stream a new game in my Franken setup, everything fell apart.
Yeah, no, well, if we can work it, we should try and, like, because that's a team game, we should try and stream something together.
Absolutely, that would be great. Hey, tell you what, everyone, if you go down to my Amazon wish list, get me a capture card, one of them good Elgatos. I can try and make it happen right quick.
Yeah, I'm looking at buying one. I'm either like this week or next week. I've got my eye on one where it's like kind of on sale. I'm like, ooh, I just need that 1080p one. Don't need that 4K one. Just need that 1080p one.
I had a total like adult moment there where I was on Amazon earlier today, and I'm like, okay, Patreon money came in, still got to break off Matt a little piece as I always do. What am I gonna buy for myself now in seclusion? I could get a capture card, which I would probably enjoy, or I could get a small blender for protein shakes.
I've been doing that. I've been like, ooh, I could buy all this like Elgato stuff, or I could buy an air fryer and be a bit more healthier.
See, I'm glad this is why we're good co-hosts, Matt, because our minds are very much in the same place. Because I'm thinking like, man, my diet's gone to shit all quarantine. I tried to do good for a couple weeks there. I didn't lose it as fast as I did when I first started keto. And then I'm like, well, time for potato skins again.
And it's easier in while you're in like a lockdown or something. You just order food or just... Yeah,
it absolutely is. And for my birthday, I did order food, and I finally like broke that thing of like, okay, I guess it's safe to order food now. I'm glad I didn't keep doing it, but yeah, I'm still drinking. I'm drinking mini 7-Ups now, and I'm just like, well, fuck it. If I'm gonna be inside, I'm gonna be, at least fat and healthy. Have a cookie, screw it.
Yeah,
but
no one can see me.
Yeah, exactly. No one can see me. Who am I losing weight for? It's fine. And then at night, I'm so bloated I can just sleep. It's okay. Thank God food is my vice and not, like, drugs or alcohol, or I really might be in trouble. Joel, why did you miss another podcast? Oh, because I've been shooting speedballs into my veins. That's why.
Into your dick.
Into my dick hole. Man, that's actually a really, really big problem where I live right now, because it's northern Canada, which is a lot like the American South, and like apparently the local methadone clinic, because our government obviously handed out a bunch of money early on for people to live on. It was like $2,000 a month and everything. And because of that, a bunch of people just stopped showing up at the methadone clinic. They either dropped out or relapsed or died.
And just started shooting drugs into their dicks.
Right into their dick holes. And I'm just like, God damn, that is really fucking horrifying. And yet at the same time, it's like, yeah, that would probably happen. You probably shouldn't give people with addiction problems a lot of money out of the blue and nothing else to do.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's again, I would love to ask, like, hey, drug dealers out there, how did this impact your business? Did you see a spike? Did it go down? How did it happen? Because I always assume, like, all the drug dealers I know, they have masks and gloves and protective gear anyway. So, it'd just be like, hey, the 8 ball's under the door. Give me the money.
Yeah. It'd just be like, yeah, just leave it at the door.
Friggin' what is it? Curbside pickup for all your hard narcotics.
Yeah, click and collect.
Yeah, really. But yeah, long story short, I got a blender because I'm gonna try and do like more protein shakes, more like healthy smoothies and shit, and then a sensible dinner is what I'm going to try and attempt to do, and try and get some exercise somewhere. My building used to have a gym, but they closed it like they closed every other public space. So now I can't
again just sneak in. Do like have you seen that video of that one guy who I think it was his city mandated that all gyms be closed because they were spreading the fucking infection. And
that guy from New Jersey.
Yeah, he got so fucking mad. He like went against the law and like opened his own gym, and I think he got in trouble for it, of course.
Well, yeah, okay, yes, this story had layers, Matt. So there's a video of him kicking down the door to his closed gym, and he's like, yeah, I'm a big hero. And then people did some digging into him, and they're like, oh, he killed a kid drunk driving and went to jail, and that's how he got really fit and opened all these gyms.
No, this gym is built on the back of a dead child.
Literally built on the back of a dead child. And of course Fox News had him on. It's like, you're an American hero, you're an American patriot. He's like, yes I am. And it's like, yeah, what a fucking 2020 story.
It doesn't disappoint. 2020, it just keeps on going.
No.
It just keeps on going.
This is the time that never ends. It just goes on and on, my friend. We're not going to have Halloween this year because people won't wear fucking masks.
Which is ironic. Which is fucking ironic.
Very. That's the thing. They got to put it in all the masks now. Look, hey, if you want to be a vampire, you can be a doctor with scrubs. Ooh. Yeah. So what else were we talking about? Oh, yeah. So, hey, here's a fun story that's also kind of fitting at the same time. It was announced this week that Christopher Preist is going to be penning a brand new U.S. Agent series for Marvel. And boy, interesting timing for this one, too. Obviously, Wyatt Russell was supposed to play him in that Winter Soldier Falcon TV show that is still pending.
Yeah, I imagine this was meant to come out around the time the show came out.
Yeah, most definitely. U.S. Agent getting his reps and other stuff, too, because he was in that Iron Man 2020 event for a second.
Yep, he was in ForceWorks, and he turned out to be kind of a good guy in that.
Yeah. It'll be interesting to see Christopher Priest's take on him, because it's like, oh, here's an educated black man, who is also a priest. The priest isn't just the last name, he actually is. Doing a story about the Captain America who's like the far-right Captain America, the shitty replacement whose name is literally Johnny Walker.
Yeah, it's a very topical book to be writing at the moment.
No doubt. I know I shared my pitch on this show a lot where it's like, ooh, you know what they should do with him? It should be like, U.S. Agent being like, yeah, I'm going to get with the people, the young people, only to find out, oh, you young people are way more right-wing and crazy than even I am.
Yeah, kind of have like a crisis of conscience sort of thing.
Yeah, like, have I been wrong this whole thing? Like, you'd basically have him team up with, like, the, the Marvel Universe equivalent of the Proud Boys and have him be like, oh, no.
Yeah, oh, no, they carry tiki torches and wear, like, creepy fucking shirts tucked into their pants.
Yeah, wear polo shirts. I don't like any of this. Although, it's funny, the pitch that Christopher Priest has here might actually end up being that, because the idea is that John Walker is taking a page from Captain America's own book. And that is, he doesn't like how the government is being run now. He thinks, they're going against the ideals of America. So he is stopping being U.S. Agent, basically, and he's going on the road, and he has a brand new costume that looks very, very homemade.
It does, yeah.
And he's going to be like an independent military contractor now. And I'm like, okay, there's some interesting shit in there. And at first I was worried to be like, ooh, are they going to, clean up his act too much? Oh, thank you, Cyborg Soldier, for the subscription there. I'm like, are they going to clean up his act too much? Then I'm reminded, no, wait, Christopher Priest wrote that amazing Deathstroke book where he was just a fucker on every page.
Yeah. Oh, they're gonna not shy away from all of that.
So again, what a great pick to write, basically like an anti-villain or like a villainous protagonist. I think that could be really well done.
I'm wondering if it will follow on from ForceWorks, because like at the end of ForceWorks, it looks like he was going to leave like the government sort of system because of like what Maria Hill and all that did, like with the Deathlocks and everything. He's like, I'm a bit tired of it. It's kind of set up for that.
Yeah, quite possible. I wonder, too, if it'll connect to what Ta-Nehisi Coates is doing in Captain America right now, where he had a great bit with U.S. Agent, where he's just like, I'm believing every conspiracy theory I'm hearing about you, Captain America, which is why I've come to stop you, only for Steve to backhand him and be like, John, A, shut the fuck up, B, we're going to have a talk later, but get out of my goddamn way for a minute, please. Which is what I've always liked about this character, where he's just like, I just want to help and want to be a hero. I'm just a fucking idiot, and I'm always believing everything wrong that I'm told.
Yeah.
Which there's definitely something interesting about that, and again, very topical too, where it's like, let's talk about this guy trying to pick up the pieces of his life and be like, have I been wrong about everything? Maybe I have. Or maybe he'll be that great Skinner meme where he's like, no, it's the children.
The children who are wrong.
It's the champions that are wrong, you'll say.
And he just punches an Atifa in the face.
Yeah. Or something like that. Oh man, I know you don't watch wrestling, Matt, or I know you don't watch WWE wrestling, but they unveiled a new faction this week called Retribution, and they literally showed up wearing black hoodies and ski masks, and they're like, "Ooh, we're Retribution, ooh, boogie boogie boogie, ooh, we're gonna get you." And I'm like, "Oh God, this is crazy boomer Vince McMahon's like worst nightmare." I wish I was in the room when he pitched that. It's like, do you know there's young people out there and they wear black and they don't like authority? Oh,
it's why I carry a gun.
Yeah, best new wrestling villains. And I'm like, I feel really bad for like the 4 NXT call-ups who he made wear those costumes, because that's really gonna hurt their career.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's a rough one. And they literally brought like a chainsaw in the ring, but not a big chainsaw, like a little one. And they're like, "Oh, we're cutting the ring ropes because we're crazy anarchists. Look at us." Ooh. And then again, people remembered where it's like, wait, didn't last year around WrestleMania time you guys did a literal story about how Vince McMahon and WWE were in fact a racist company keeping Kofi Kingston down, and why it was such a huge deal when he actually did win the title? And now you're like, no, these are the bad guys. God, you guys have short memories.
Yeah, Vince McMahon can't remember that. He can't even remember which steroids he took last week.
No, he can't. He is big and old and crazy, and you can't stop him. You can try wrestling him, but you can't stop him. Oh God, the chat's reminding me too. The XFL. Did you hear that? The Rock bought the failing XFL, and now he owns it.
Yeah, cool.
Yeah. Very cool, especially considering too that Vince McMahon literally made a selling point of that company being like, "No one's gonna kneel in the XFL, not on my watch." So to see it crash and burn so amazingly, and like a half black, half Samoan guy to swoop on in and buy is pretty great.
It's pretty cool.
It's like that's good. I'm like, also too, where it's like, does The Rock really have that much money that he's bought a company that's failed twice now, the XFL? What's he gonna do with it?
Well, really, like, would the XFL even have been worth much?
No, probably not.
Like, we could have bought it with donations.
I know, like, you're right, Matt. He bought it for something ridiculously small, like only something like 15 million.
Yeah, he made that on like the last, I don't know, fucking Jumanji film or whatever.
At the very, like, again, like, that's throwaway money. That was in his suit pants. Like, ooh, I think I got something for this. Yeah, there's 15 million.
Yeah.
You know what he should do with it? He should turn it into a real-life Rocket League, kind of like try it together with Fast and the Furious, where it's like, look, we're all going to be racing cars in the XFL now and hitting big, giant balls around. And this will all be the setup for Fast and the Furious 10. You see, it's all connected, Matt. He has to prime the pump by buying the XFL, turning it into Rocket League, then making that movie. And then he runs for president.
Yeah, this is what's going to help him run for president. I brought back the XFL so I can bring back America.
Exactly. Look, if I can save this shit show of a company, surely I can save the country. And everyone will be like, no lies detected. All right. Good for you, man. But yeah, this U.S. Agent book seems really interesting and really timely, and I'm definitely going to give this one a shot when it comes out.
Absolutely, yeah.
It's only a mini so far, but I wonder if it proves to be popular, if they'll bring it back for more.
Ooh, probably. Because
Preist wrote Deathstroke for a really long time.
Yeah, like 50 issues?
Yeah, and like wrote it basically uninterrupted. Like there was one crossover, but by and large, that was like all his idea.
Mm-hmm.
So, yeah, that's cool. I'll be interested in that. On more new comic news, remember the Dark Multiverse, Matt? Do you remember it?
I do, because they were all really great.
They were pretty fun. They were pretty freaking cool and creative. It seemed like they were building up to something that maybe was Dan DiDio's idea, and then it kind of never happened, and now we got Death Metal, which is making no reference to any of these yet. Who knows? But, yeah, they announced out of the blue this week, hey, how would you like 2 more Dark Multiverse stories? And everyone's like, yeah, all right, what do you got for us? And they're like, we got Hush, and we got Flashpoint.
Yeah, 2 pretty already dark stories.
Yeah. Exactly. How are we going to make this worse? How are we going to take this to the nth degree?
Yeah, so especially Flashpoint.
Yeah, I mean, as we can see from this cover here, it looks like Reverse Flash wins. Barry dies, and I'm guessing, yeah, we get to see the fallout from that, and like maybe time collapse in on itself.
Yeah, and I guess the Hush one, just going off the art, Thomas Elliot becomes Batman.
I guess because he wanted to be Bruce and he was changing his face, so this is really the next step.
Or we're gonna get like an opposite where it's like Thomas's parents like they die and like Bruce's parents stay alive and like he ends up killing them later, and it's kind of like a role reversal.
Right, yeah, that'd be cool. Yeah, there's a lot of interesting places they could take these. I wonder for the Flashpoint one if they actually make reference to the New 52, where it's like, yeah, well, Barry died, so the New 52 couldn't happen, so da-da-da-da-da.
That's the new canon.
Yeah, really, hey, everyone, this turned into a really important book. You should read it.
Yeah, it can't really, because the New 52 does exist. It's just on a different Earth.
Yeah, there you go. But, yeah, these look fun. These look interesting. I'm excited to see where these ones are going to go.
Yeah, I wonder if this will lead to like more.
I'm sure it will. Again, you know, it definitely seemed like they were trying to build up to some sort of event there where you had fucking Tempest Fugonaut being like, ooh, I'm going to look into these Earths like the Watcher, and ooh, I'm going to pick a champion, and they're going to join my team for something maybe. Maybe not. Maybe these will just be what-ifs. We don't know.
It felt like it was like a build-up to like maybe like, oh, we're going to get Grant Morrison to come back, and he's going to finish Multiversity 2, and...
or something, yeah.
Something like that. But yeah, I mean, it still could happen. It still could be something that they build towards. But I remember on Twitter I pitched that they should do Heroes in Crisis Tales from the Multiverse.
Ooh,
but nothing
like
bad happens. All the heroes get their therapy and they go on to be better people.
Exactly. I mean, if it is the dark inverse of the main universe, and that was already the darkest, most miserable story ever told, then yeah, in the dark multiverse, everything was fine that day.
Except Roy still dies.
Oh, fucking Roy. Can't catch a break.
Because in every universe, he has to die.
Oh, we'll talk about that, too, when we get to what we read this week. Don't you worry. But, yeah, if this just ends up being a line of comics, they could do this for like every big event.
Yeah, I'd be happy with that. Like a line of like Elseworlds books. That'd be great. Get the Elseworlds title back.
Yeah,
get rid
really.
of Black Label and just name them Elseworlds.
Yeah, because Black Label doesn't mean anything anymore. I'm trying to think. They've basically done like all the big stories that we thought of. Yeah, someone said Final Crisis could be one. I mean, really, all the Crisis is.
Yeah.
I'll guess see like what's a darker version of like Cry for Justice or something.
Oh God.
Because that story's already kind of fucking dark.
Yeah.
Identity Crisis, do a dark version of that, which again already fucking dark.
Yeah, do some more like single stories. Like we had the death of Superman, so like do like Batman R.I.P. or like Battle for the Cowl or something.
That's good. I like that. Those are good choices.
Yeah.
Do something for Green Arrow. I'm trying to think, is there a big enough Green Arrow story? People only really remember Longbow Hunters in year one for him.
Yeah, maybe do that team up where him and Green Lantern have to stop Roy from shooting drugs into his dick or something.
Yeah, there you go. Hard traveling heroes.
They don't, and he dies.
End of story. Yeah, I like that. Dark multiverse, hard traveling heroes. Yeah, that could be a good one.
Yeah.
Now they're traveling even harder. So hard, call them the Rough Riders. Drop, stop, shut them down, open up shop. Whoa. That's a hard traveling heroes roll. Oh my God! That's the whole issue. They just stop being heroes and start a rap career. Also, thanks, C-Bay, for following. Thank you for following on that joke of all jokes. But yeah, some more dark multiverse coming down the pipeline. I don't know if it'll mean anything, but should be some fun stories.
Yeah.
Now here's less of a news story and more of kind of a discussion topic I wanted to have with Matt and everyone in the chat too. So obviously, because of the coronavirus and everything going on, the release of all the big movies and shows have pretty much been scuttled. We don't know when anything's coming out anymore, if it's going to come out, and it seems like there was like a handful of movies that were all just kind of waiting to see, you know, when or if they were going to budge, right?
Mm-hmm.
And the first movie that ended up budging was Mulan from Disney, their big live-action remake that they had put a lot of time and effort into. They were really happy that it was a big female-led action movie. They had a big female director attached to this who's actually going to be doing Captain Marvel 2 now, yes?
No, not the one who does doing Captain Marvel 2 is Nia DaCosta, who's doing the new Candyman.
Right, okay, yes, I got, which actually both look great, and I'm excited for both. Also,
Yeah.
hey, that's a piece of news now, everyone. Bring Captain Marvel 2, got a director. It's apparently going to have more Avengers in it, but I'm getting off topic. But yeah, so Mulan was the first movie to budge, even though they clearly wanted it to go to theaters because it was basically primed to be a big, huge hit in China. But now we can't do that. And now it's the first one that's budged. It's going to streaming, but with the extra little caveat of like, you got to have the app for it. And also you got to pay like $30 American for it.
Yeah.
And people are not happy about it for obvious reasons, where it's like, why would I pay $30 to see a movie when I'd pay about $15 just for a ticket to go to the theater? Why should I pay more just because I'm seeing it in my house? That seems like a weirdo way to punish people. I mean, shit, even Onward you put on the app. Yeah, sure, Onward got to be in theaters for a little bit, but even that one you put out just for people who had the app. Why is Mulan so special? We got to pay $30 for it.
Yeah, again, it probably has to do something with its big budget,
I guess.
sort of thing. They got to try and make some money back. But yeah, I'm definitely not paying $30 for it.
No,
I'll see it.
would,
I'm sure one of my friends will buy it, and I'll just go over and watch it or something. I don't know.
that's the way you do. You have yourself a streaming party or something. But this leads to the much bigger question that, and the point of the discussion now that Disney has budged on Mulan. How much longer does this thing have to go before you think they'll eventually budge on Black Widow?
Yeah, I don't know, because Black Widow is meant to be coming out in November, and that's not too far away. We're already almost, halfway through August, so you got a couple more months until that, and I don't think anything's going to change, at least in America.
Yeah, that's the problem, where it's like, is that wishful thinking that we're all going to be fine and be able to go back to movies in November? Because the way we're doing it now sure doesn't seem that way.
Yeah. So, yeah, I could see it like maybe coming. I think they're going to use this as like a sort of like a test, and they're going to. Because I imagine people are going to buy it, and it's going to make a lot of money.
Yeah, I mean, that'll be interesting to see. I mean, if anything it would be that, because people are starved for new content now, and be like, hey, here's a big budget movie you can see in your home. People might piss and moan about it on social media, but I mean, we can't see them actually spend the money.
Well, as well as that, like, people did the exact same thing when Invisible Man and Trolls and all that came out, and those movies made a ton of fucking money on VOD.
More than they probably would have made in theaters.
Yeah, they were very, very popular, and I can see this being no different.
Yeah. Because this asked the bigger question, that's Mulan, but obviously because, we're comic book people and because it's a comic book show, would you pay $30 to see Black Widow, Matt?
Maybe not $30, maybe something a bit more reasonable, like, I don't know, $15. I'd pay $30 if there was, like, added caveats. So, like, you can pay it to watch it, and it gives you a copy of the movie to own. Like a 4K copy,
nice.
Like, you can download it any time. If it did something like that, sure. But
that's smart.
But this seems to be like a sort of one and done, sort of like one-time thing, and you only get to watch it once, I think, or at least for a certain amount of time, 24 hours or something.
Something like that, yeah. To where it's like, and I know I'm not most people in this situation, but I'd be like, yeah, of course I'd pay $30 to see Black Widow. I'd make a video out of it and make my money back that way, and I could write it off on my taxes
That's
as a
true.
business expense later.
That's true, yeah.
Which, again, everyone's not me. This isn't their job. This is your entertainment. It's like, well, I could take that $30 and I could buy like a bucket of chicken or something, and I would have just as much fun with the bucket of chicken. Someone in the chat saying Joel's golden locks are distracting me from the news. Well, I'm glad you noticed that, and also that I'm wearing an Aquaman shirt, because this is the only time that I could get away with this and have it all make sense. I am Joel Atlantean of the sea, come to tell you the comic book news of my people. I think another reason, too, that this has been such a big bone of contention for these studios who are sitting on these new movies and everything. Obviously, Christopher Nolan and Tenet is another one that gets involved in this conversation. That is like, look, any movie that we come out with now during all this, if say by November the theaters can open up again, you don't want to be the studio or the creator walking around with the stigma around your movie to be like, ooh, we thought this was good enough that we could release it now, or ooh, we didn't really trust it enough, so we put it out to video on demand, you know?
Yeah, yeah. Yeah, they seem to be set on like Tenet being like the first big one. Like,
No.
yeah, and rightly so. It's a Christopher Nolan film. It's gonna probably do well, but yeah, the thing is, I don't know if it will do well because again, theaters like in a lot of states at least are like been mandated to stay closed,
Yeah.
and yeah, that's gonna limit how many people see it. It's gonna affect the box office as well.
Mm-hmm. It's very strange, and I feel too like maybe the reason Tenet is in its own special little thing is because Nolan is this high in demand auteur director who can be like, hey, release it how I want or you're not getting my next one.
Yeah, release it in Fortnite.
Yeah, release in fucking Fortnite. Where Disney, obviously, they're a little bit more corporate and a little more like, look, we gotta make some money on this at some point, and better make some money than no money.
Yeah, and that as well. Like Mulan is coming to theaters as well. Like they're releasing it on VOD, but they're also going to release it in a short run in theaters, like where they can. And I think that's what like if this pandemic has told me one thing, and it's that theater owners are like petulant children.
Oh yeah, they really are.
Like, did you see that video of that one guy smashing up the Mulan?
Oh, I did.
Like, I'm like, you're gonna be getting the film. It's just not coming there first. And really, like, it's not anyone's fault that there's this virus. Like, people don't want to go to a place where they have to be in an enclosed space with other people. You know?
Yeah, maybe have a little restraint, maybe have a little maturity, but no, I need to smash a thing and film myself smashing a thing because I'm a big tough hero, man. No, you're not. You're a child having a temper tantrum.
And not only that, like the movie theaters, like they don't own these films. It's these studios that own the films, and if they decide they want to put it out on VOD, it's their prerogative. They can do that.
I mean, obviously your problem is with the studios, but the fact is you guys have been getting a raw deal forever. You make your money on concession and nothing else, and people do prefer to stay home because sometimes the floors are sticky and because other people suck and babies cry and the theater isn't as nice an experience as it once was.
No, yeah.
And again, as this quarantine has showed us, there's nothing stopping these companies from just putting their new movies out. And, you know, what is a theatrical experience and what isn't, you know, is like really fucking hotly up for debate. And I know if I owned a chain of movie theaters, I'd probably be worried too that by the time this is all said and done, I wouldn't have a job anymore. But still.
Yeah, yeah. A lot of people aren't going to be having jobs. You know, it's not just the movie theaters.
Yeah, ask your local comic book shop owner.
Yeah, yeah.
About how rough that is. And yes, I know suffering isn't a contest and that it's bad for everybody, but still it's just like, come on, you can practice a little restraint, please.
Yeah. And if anything, it showed us just how like fragile that movie industry is, because it was like only like weeks after everything started that they're like, oh, we're kind of suffering here,
Like very quickly they were suffering, where it's like, wow, apparently this whole industry was built on a fucking house of cards assembled
like week
on
to week things.
Yeah, really. Like, you guys were really living hand to mouth for this long, how you just never thought movies would stop.
No.
Which, in fairness, is exactly how the comic industry was, too, there. Where it's like, yeah, we've been living hand to mouth. We just assumed that comics would come out every week, rain or shine.
Mm-hmm.
And then they didn't for 2 months.
No.
And that was a fuck of a thing. So, yeah, there's, you know, your Black Widow update. Again, they still got till November. They still got some time to figure this out, if they figure it out. But if it was to come out, I definitely see it. And, yeah, maybe Matt has the right idea. Maybe invite some people over, which my country can do now because we're at stage 3 unlock. I think you could have meetings of like 5 people now, which you never could before.
Oh, 5 people.
I know.
If only I knew 5 people.
I know. I do, but they're all on the internet. I'd have to Zoom call you all in and be like, hey guys, this is fun, right? I live a fulfilling life. I'll invite some of the old people from the building.
Yeah.
Just put a sign on my door, free wings. Oh man, speaking of my building, this is some hilarious shit. So we normally have a fire drill every first Friday of the month.
Mm-hmm.
And this month there was one like at the end of the month during like just on a random Wednesday. And it's like, oh, well, that's weird. The fire alarm's going off now. There was no smoke and we didn't smell any fire. Turns out lightning had like hit the building and had set off the fire alarm.
Oh, Jesus.
There was no problem. But again, we're all just sitting down there. It was raining too, so it's me and like 30 old people sitting in like the the stairwell, because no one wants to go outside and get wet.
Mm-hmm.
And we're all just sitting there with our masks on, like, that's weird. Hey, did you hear that thunder? Yeah, I heard that thunder. That's definitely weird. And then, like, 2 weeks later, we got a letter in the mail from, like, the corporation that owns the buildings. They own a bunch of buildings. And they're like, hey, so there was a fire alarm and no one went outside and did the things they were supposed to do. And we're very disappointed in everyone for how they acted during this possible fire situation. And then they put some more shit in there that was weird, where it's like, look, for future reference, go to your zone even if it is raining and you don't want to get wet, and also don't open the hallway doors after they shut, because that's what they're supposed to do for safety things, and don't go running up and down the halls looking for for the source of the fire. And I'm like, which one of these old people did that? I found out later, apparently one of the well, I say kid, even though he's like closer to my age. He's in his 20s. I guess he has like some sort of autism or something. I guess he's staying with his grandparents during all of this, and he like really took it upon himself, like he was a fireman, and
he's got to find that fire.
He was going to find that fire, and he was running up and down. And his poor grandparents are in walkers, so they can't stop him. And they're all crammed in the stairwell with us. And, like, I think back to that now. I'm like, why did no one stop him? That could actually have been a fire. You're not looking at me to stop him, right? Because, like, I can't catch him either. It's like Catch the Greased Up Deaf Guy, but I love that the building company had to put that in the letter. Now, we're not naming names, but you fucking know who you are. Funniest goddamn thing. So, these are the people who can come and watch Black Widow with me, is what I'm saying. Here's just hoping. Or you know what, I should pull the fire alarm, and then when we all go to the stairwell, hey everyone, I brought a movie.
Yeah, bring out like a little laptop. It's like, hey, you wanna watch Black Widow?
Yeah. Oh, I like this one. She's a Russian spy. I was a Russian spy too back in the
I mean, what?
Yeah, I mean, I didn't say that. Jesus, Gladys, we're learning a lot about you today, aren't we? Oh, that's that David Harbour fella. Wasn't he in the Weirder Things? No, Stranger Things, Gladys. Oh, yeah.
That had Russians in it, too.
Yeah, it did. What's up with that? Dude got typecast. Oh, Taskmaster was actually the sister. Fucking called it. Apparently, these old people also love posting on Twitter about all their Marvel theories. But yeah, so Black Widow news, everyone. There's still time, but we'll see.
Yeah, if it doesn't come out, they'll have to push it back, which means that, again, they'll have to push back Eternals, which comes out in February.
And then they really start getting in trouble, too, because, like, all these movies, have a certain sort of continuity and a rhythm, and you can't just start taking them in and out, because then it's like, well, is this going to hurt those TV shows you've been sitting on that can't finish? Are you going to reveal something you're not supposed to, or is, like, One Piece not going to be in place yet? Mm-hmm. That's where they start getting in trouble. This is the real downfall of having an interconnected universe, and it hasn't been a problem until right now, until like a major fucking pandemic.
Yeah. And that is something to say about the whole Marvel Cinematic Universe, that it took a pandemic to maybe start to like fucking it up.
Yeah,
like was something out of anyone's control.
Yeah, to put a wrench in this massive fucking entertainment machine. It just took the end of the world.
Yeah.
And the fall of Western civilization. But, yeah, so there's that one for you, everyone. Now, what else do we got going on here in the world of news? Ba-dum. Oh, hey, so apparently there's going to be a new Batman event spinning out of Detective Comics number 1027, which they're heralding as the 1000th appearance of Batman in comic form, even though people are like, that doesn't actually quite track, but all right.
Yeah, that doesn't quite track, especially when you've had an issue 1000 and like what you're counting doesn't like make sense, because they did it as well with like goddamn Action Comics and Wonder Woman and all that sort of stuff. They counted all these books that don't technically count.
feels like you guys rushed it because you wanted a big 1000th issue to talk about,
Yep.
and now that you're actually getting to 1,000 appearances, you want another excuse to have another big anthology issue, and now you got to start making shit up.
Yep.
But yeah, this will be part of Detective Comics number 1027. They're making a big deal about this one, where it's like, ooh, you know, who killed the most corrupted cop in Gotham, and like, ooh, what new piece of Wayne Enterprises technology will kick off the new event? The answer is, I don't know.
Yeah, I don't know. Buy the book and find out, and buy all the variants and Punchline
and
variant and.
Oh yeah, it's gonna be worth a lot of money. And as the chat says, wait, can we not finish one Batman event before you start talking about the next one? The answer is no, we can't.
Well, in saying that as well, Joker War finishes in like 2 issues, so.
It does, yeah. Thank God they're keeping them short. I like this new thing of keeping events short.
Yeah.
And as the chat's saying, wait, isn't this only a month away? Yeah, I guess it is. Oops. Here's the thing, too. And again, I can neither confirm nor deny this, and also excuse me for burping in the mic there. My hands were busy at the moment. Someone says, you know, will this possibly be some of the 5G stuff they had sitting around? Is this them retooling it and saying like, oh, it's an event because we wrote it to be a big story anyway, so...
Yeah.
Is this their way to kind of work it in there? Because it's like, from what I understand, because it's like, from what we understand, 5G was ready to go before they just pulled the fucking plug on it. And it's like, well, they got to put that stuff somewhere instead of just putting it in the vault.
Again, yeah, they're probably repurposing a lot of it and like trying to like shift parts of it into where it might fit within the current continuity. And again, when we talked about it, like they could easily at the end of Death Metal just reshape Generations into something new that spins out of Death Metal.
Right, which is definitely the way I'm seeing it go.
Absolutely, yeah.
And that's what they're gonna do with it. So yeah, more Batman stuff on the horizon, everyone. This ship don't stop. It keep on coming. Batman start coming and you don't stop coming. That's gonna be the new twist, everyone. The lead singer of Smash Mouth will be the new Batman.
Yeah, he's replacing Robert Pattinson.
I mean, that would be the most 2020 thing to happen, right?
Yeah, and suddenly Limp Bizkit is Robin.
Hey, Batman,
it's Fred Durst.
Gotta keep rolling. You know what time it is. Yeah, time for justice. Man, I would love that, where it's like, yeah, we're making a new Batman movie. It's so great, but it's like really guarded. But in reality, they're actively trying to make the worst, most tone-deaf superhero movie ever. So, like, they do get Fred Durst and the Smash Mouth guy, and they do try and make, like, the producers of superhero movies where it's just the worst.
Yeah, they're just trying to tank the brand just to see what would, like, nowadays tank the Batman brand. It's like, oh, if you made $2 billion, what the fuck?
Yeah, absolutely. Because that's always the thing where it's like, you know, the superhero bubble burst, you know, much like the Western bubble of its day, which the answer I always give, where it's like, look, if the bubble was going to burst, it would have burst by now, and it hasn't. So I think it's just going to keep on going. But that being said, if we did have, Smash Mouth guy and Fred Durst in a new Batman, as they are now, then I think that might just kill it.
Oh, and, no, Chad Kroger is the Joker.
How did I get these scars? I'll tell you on a brother now.
And again, like early like superhero movies, they'd have like a soundtrack where they all like collaborate on like some song. Like you had how like Spider-Man had like the Nickelback Hero song and all that sort of stuff.
And with the brand new song, we got Lil Nas X with the Batman Road. I want to take my something to the old Batman Road. It's just a remix. That's all it is. And I like Lil Nas X because he genuinely seems to just be fucking with people.
Oh, yeah, his Twitter is amazing.
It really is. Like, never did I think, man, who's your favorite artist of this era? Oh, well, Lil Nas X, obviously, whose name is just a combination of all the popular rap names. Lil, the rapper Nas, and X from DMX. I just put them together. He's the fucking composite Superman of rappers. Man. You see, that's when it all went wrong, really. Old Town Road, when we let Billy Ray Cyrus have another hit in a modern era. That was the beginning of the end. People say it was when that baseball team won too, and that's where we broke off from the real reality, and now we're in the dark alternate reality.
It's the end game rules. That was the dividing thing, and we made a branch in the
That's
timeline.
what happened. And we're all just living in the branch now. That's the problem.
Yeah.
Some people say too it was Trolls 2 when Trolls 2 came out. That's when we entered the darkest timeline, the last movie ever.
Well, we just entered a new timeline where Dolittle is now the top film of 2020 thanks to China.
I love that the Academy Awards are like, look, guys, we really have to keep pushing the awards this year, because if not, we either have to give all the awards to Netflix, which we don't want to do because we shat on Netflix for years and years, and we look like
or
giant
Sonic or Bad Boys will win everything.
Yeah, or we got to give the awards to Sonic, which at that point we'd give the awards, and then all the old judges in the back would just shoot themselves. That's how it would end, with a giant, freaking ritualistic suicide. Oh, and Cats. Yeah, Cats was also in theaters at this point.
Oh, yeah, that came and went.
Boy, did it. It was crazy there for a bit. Couldn't get away from it. Just couldn't. You know, I didn't even hate watch that movie. I thought, like, I should hate watch this, and then I'm like, nah, I got better things to do.
Yeah, it's pretty bad. It's pretty bad.
Like sit at the wall. And, like, I like musicals. Like, I'm not too big for musicals. I have a vast knowledge of musicals, even, like, the weird fringe ones, like Repo the Genetic Opera I quite enjoy, Anna and the Apocalypse, that weird Scottish zombie Christmas musical.
Yeah, that's great.
You know what's great about that movie? Not just that the director followed me on Twitter because I said a nice thing about his movie, but the fact that for, like, the first, like, 15, 20 minutes, it plays exactly like a shitty made-for-TV teen Christmas movie, to where you almost believe it is like one of those movies.
And then it just switches, and it's like, oh, fuck.
Then fucking boom, zombie. Because, like, I'm sitting there and I'm watching, and I'm like, wow, this is really fucking bad. And I'm like, no, it's purposely really fucking bad because those movies are really bad, but wait till the zombies get here and flip everything up. Because, like, they're even the choreography is, like, straight up High School Musical, and I'm like, oh, this is bullshit. Then I'm like, oh, no, wait, this is awesome, and by the end, it really is. So, hey, everyone, if we're going to keep doing this virus thing into Christmas, watch that movie. Yeah, it's Scottish and zombies and Christmas. 3 of my favorite things all together. Oh, yeah, see, the chat is going nuts. Yeah, clearly some of you have not heard of Anne and the Apocalypse, so go check that shit out. Apparently it had toured for a long time at film festivals before it actually came somewhere where people could watch it. I heard stories about it before I actually got to see it.
Yeah?
Yeah, oh yeah. It was like a real film festival contender until it actually became a thing.
Cool.
And speaking of things that are things, comics we read this week, which we can now officially talk about.
Yeah.
Where would you like to start, Matt? As I always like to ask you, my faithful co-host in crime.
Ooh, we had quite a few big books this week, and I guess we'll start with Deceased, Dead Planet issue 2.
Yeah, that's right. This issue was cool because it's basically an entire issue where we get to hook on back up with the Unkillables, or the cast of the Unkillables book.
Yeah, who have kind of been assimilated into Shadow Pact, which for all intents and purposes is just Justice League Dark. Like, it's literally the same like roster as current Justice League Dark.
We just didn't call it that back in the day. But also, hey, we got Bobo with the Nightmaster sword, and hey, we got Ragman here because Ragman never gets to do much. But come on, he's Ragman.
Yeah,
he's fucking
Blue
cool.
Devil.
Blue Devil gets to do stuff, and again, Blue Devil factored really heavily into Justice League Dark there for an arc. But yeah, they're super cool. Red Hood is cool, which I never thought I'd say. Constantine is great.
Yep, Constantine's great. All the characters there are really great. I like that we got a reunion between, like, the people who'd been left on Earth and, like, the Earth 2 people.
They take it really easy getting abandoned for as long as they did.
I have a feeling that's probably going to come up a little bit later, although they probably realize that, like, look, you did the right thing. You got all the people to safety, you know, where we survived.
It's because they're superheroes and because they're not petty. That really helps.
Yeah.
It helps that they're not petty. And, man, again, Taylor writes a hell of a Jason, whereas like, Bruce made a lot of bad decisions, but making you, Damian, into Batman was not one of them, and they hug, and it's very sweet.
Yeah, he makes me care for Jason for once. Like I really don't give a shit about Jason Todd, but this one I do.
Also, giving Damian a little bit of a romance with Wonder Girl, now Wonder Woman. Did that happen in one of the digital books, and did I miss that? That feels like that came out of nowhere.
Yeah, no, it wasn't hinted at it hasn't been shown in Hope at World's End, or it wasn't in Unkillables, or at the end of the original Deceased. So yeah, I imagine that might be something that's coming up. It might be like hints at it thrown, or this was like kind of the first.
Yeah. Because I thought that was my only real issue with it, where I'm like, that's fucking weird.
Yeah, I like that pairing up as though, because they're both like sort of successors to their parents, and it kind of makes sense that they sort of get together.
And I guess Tim is dead.
Yeah.
Because like I always thought like Tim and Cassandra were more of a thing, but it's like, well, he's dead, so.
Yeah.
So next best thing. got me a Robin one way or another. Yeah, what else was going on in this issue? Ooh, Swamp Thing says a big swear. Which is so funny, because, yeah, Swamp Thing never swears, so when he does, literally everyone stops.
Everyone stops like, okay, this is serious.
Yeah, wow, he done did the big swear. Roy came back, and I was so super stoked for a minute, because I'm like, oh, hell yeah, Roy's back. He can be the new Green Arrow now, because we just lost Ollie. This will be a story about him coming back and, taking up the mantle and, dealing with his complicated feelings about Ollie, his father figure, and Fire from Fire and Ice fucking killed him.
Yeah, fucking cooks him alive. Before he even realized that, like, but he never even knew, like, Oliver was back or turned or never even, just, like, cooks him. And it's, like, the most unheroic death either. He's just standing there like, what's that? Just cooked.
It's the most Roy thing ever is what it is.
I love it. I love that he's like become this punching bag of the DC universe.
For the fucking universe, really. Like, God, like if he became the villain of the next event, I'd be like, yeah, because everyone was mean to me. And I'm gonna attack and dethrone God and change my history. See, again, all that Wally stuff was wrong and stupid about him wanting to change the past and make himself happy. It should have been Roy, because Roy has good reason to be. They killed my daughter and made me wear a trucker cap and made me stupid when I wasn't. That's the real story there. Also, too, I gotta imagine somewhere Connor Hawk's like, hey, it's my time.
If he's not dead.
If he's not dead. Same with Emiko, if she's not dead. She can take it up. Also, apparently there's another garden out there, another last bastion of society, but this one is very clearly evil and in Australia.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, it's Tom Taylor. He writes Australia into every book he does.
Love it. Love everything about it.
Yeah, and it's surrounded by zombies and a moat of blood, but the moat of blood isn't a moat of blood. It's fucking Plastic Man.
That's so fucking creative that the fire melted him, turned him into liquid, and he's more dangerous as liquid.
Yeah. Oh, he is. He like kills like all of Shadow Pact
in one go, and it's like, hey, did you think? In case you forgot, this is a zombie story where anyone can die at any moment. Some people were mad at that, and I'm like, come on, man, it's three parts into this zombie epic. Did you really think they were all getting out of it?
Yeah, they absolutely were. And they should know by now that Tom Taylor loves killing all these like fan favorite characters.
Also, too, where they're like, oh, this is just shock for shock's sake. No, this is the book. This is the world that we've done. And if you wanted happy endings for these characters, you got it in Unkillables, and you got it in Deceased 1.
Yeah. If you want to finish there, then finish there. Don't read this new series. It's just gonna like hurt you even more.
Again, post-apocalyptic fiction, it only gets worse. It never gets better. That's why you have guys like Mad Max who never get connected to anything because it always goes bad for them.
Mm-hmm.
It's a hell of a thing. But yeah, Deceased was cool.
Yeah, I really enjoyed it.
Yeah, good shit. Can't wait to see where it goes next. Are they still coming out with Hopes at World's End, or is that done? I know I missed the last issue, I think.
Yeah, they still do. The last issue, I read that one. It was like a filler issue. It was like just before like the big war of the anti-life war, where the Air and Wink go and look for like Wonder Woman to help him against Black Adam. It was very like fillery.
Right. Man, we went from having no comics and I was so hyped to have everything to now we have like too many comics, and I couldn't read that, and I couldn't read the other big Tom Taylor book that came out this week. Surprise.
Yeah, well, yeah, I read all three of those Injustice Year Zero books.
Yeah, not only did Injustice 3, Injustice 0 come out, but there was 3 piping hot issues of them. How were they, Matt?
They were great, but people seem to think that I was just late at getting these up, and they thought that this was like a book that came out years ago.
Ah.
But
Wow.
yeah, no, it's good. It's obviously dealing with the JSA. It's set before all the stuff that happened in Injustice happened. It's the first issue is the heroes the Justice League sort of honoring the JSA for all they've done. Batman gets into a fight with Wildcat just because it's fun, and Wildcat beats the shit out of him, and it is a really cool part because Flash is watching it and he watches Batman get like knocked out, and he stops time and goes to get Jay Garrick, and they sit there and eating popcorn, watching Batman in slow motion get knocked out. Second issue kind of like follows this guy called Andre who's like broken out of prison thanks to Joker because he's dying, and he wants to look for the power of a god, and Joker sort of breaks him out of prison, and he takes him to see his grandson who doesn't want anything to do with him. And I love the old man's like you can't do anything to me, Joker. I'm like dying. I'm 86 years old. Like you have nothing against me. And Joker just turns the van around and goes back to his son's place and just starts cutting fingers off his son.
Oh, Jesus.
Yeah, it's pretty brutal. And yeah, Joker ends up wanting what this man wants, which we learn in the third issue is the Amulet of Apophis, which is a thing that Carter Hall and Shayera were digging up in Egypt during World War II.
Ooh.
And we learned that Shayera touches this thing and it like possesses her and turns her into some like big armored monster that Hawkman has to fight, and they end up fighting. For so far, they fall into the middle of a battle of World War II, a big major battle. So while they're fighting also the Germans who are attacking them.
Now, didn't we also say, hey, what's the one thing they haven't done here yet? Time travel. So yes, they're doing time travel.
No. This issue takes place in the 40s.
Oh, so yeah. Oh, so like the actual World War II is happening at that time. Oh, holy shit.
Yeah. Because the Andre guy's like telling this story to Joker about the amulet, because the amulet is apparently the thing that also killed Hitler.
Oh shit.
Yeah, so the amulet, we find out, is the user can use it to control people, and it falls into the hands after Carter Hall dies. It falls into the hands of a German officer who uses it to get like medical help for himself and kind of get out of the war. And we learn from Andre that this guy was going to go on to kill millions and possibly even more. So I think they're setting up like who the villain is for this arc.
Interesting setup, and also very different from the other Injustices.
Oh yeah, it's weird because it's just like the normal DC universe at the moment. Like there isn't that thing that's changed it.
There's nothing special about it.
Yeah, not yet anyway.
It's true. It could always change. There could always be something going on. And I mean, why? I don't think Tom Taylor's the sort of person who would just call it Injustice if it didn't have some sort of major connection.
Yeah. Well, I think like the implication is that like the JSA like kind of go up against Superman, like because it's set up as like the JSA are all dead by the time the first year of Injustice happened. So there is something that happened that maybe might lead to what happened in Injustice.
Right. Maybe this is how Joker gets the idea.
Yeah. I think that's what they're, because obviously Joker's involved in this. So yeah.
Yeah, this is by the time this is all done, we see the spark of inspiration. Him like, oh, I should make Superman go crazy.
Yeah, because even Superman's talking about like maybe having a family with Lois and all this sort of stuff.
Interesting. Could be cool.
Yeah.
What else did we have going on this week? We had Empyre #4 because a new issue of Empyre comes out every week now.
Yeah. We're fucking flying through this event.
We're flying through it so fast, and I was like, wait, is there stuff I'm missing? Should I like really be reading the tie-ins here?
Well, the tie-ins I've read so far are kind of like filling in, like, again, what we said, all the action, whereas this main book is all like the political sort of behind the scenes stuff.
Yeah, it's all heavy story. This issue especially was kind of cool because it really ties into this whole theme of leadership, and we see many different leaders on many different fronts. You know, we see Hulkling and all the people on the Kree Skrull ship being like, oh, should we use the Pyre? Even if we do so, it could stop the Kotati and save the universe, but we'd kill all of Earth. And the Earthlings are like, oh, yeah, that's not going to happen. And you got Clerk being there being like, oh, motherfuckers, you didn't save my planet when Galactus ate it. You said that was for the greater good, you fucking hypocrites.
Yeah, I like that. Like, Hulkling is obviously the Empress, who's just,
Yes.
what are you calling it? Because they used the hammer, and the hammer didn't pick her up when she was Tanalith and all that sort of stuff. So they're setting up all these little things.
Yeah, that was a nice way. Like, Al Ewing is great at this, the mechanics of it, where it's like, look, so we need to replace Hulkling, but we need to explain why the Avengers don't know he's been replaced. Oh, okay, we'll set up giving Carol the hammer, and the hammer's clearly been tampered with.
Yeah, it's tampered with to like make sure the Empress isn't revealed and everything. It makes sure everything else is right, and even like you also have the added factor of Captain Glory knows, and he's like kind of like pushing them in that direction to like, no, use the hammer, you know, that sort of stuff.
Yeah, the tragedy of it too is we actually get to check back on in with Wiccan, who's been helping everyone on Earth fight back the Kotati, and he has no idea what's going on. So it's like really sad when they have to tell him.
I like when they tell him and he like sees Sue's mind, and he's like, he immediately knows like, hey, that's not Teddy.
Yeah. Yeah, that was very nice. And hey, here's some wedding pictures that you didn't know about. I'm like, oh, that's cool. Yeah, that was a nice one. What else was going on there? Oh, Tony lost in a drift yet again with no one left to lead, and so he's building armors.
Yeah, building Fantastic Four armors. And again, they referenced the fucking Thor book that got cancelled, which makes me think, why'd you fucking cancel that one if you're just going to keep mentioning it?
Like, clearly, I think what's going to happen now is Thor has to ride in at the 11th hour. It's like, hey, I got a thing.
Yeah, but and then everyone's going to go, well, what was that thing?
What was the story?
I really wish there was a book that told us what it was.
I mean, I guess it mustn't have been that important if they were willing to cancel that. And similarly, cancel the Black Panther one. He was supposed to have two. He was supposed to have an Agents of Wakanda one and one on his own. Because we get a whole thing here where it's like, oh, and Black Panther led a whole army into battle, but it was really just a smoke screen. So Mantis and the Invisible Woman could get next to Sequoia one last time to, you know, try and ask him what's what.
Yeah, try and convince him what's what. But yeah, he's too far gone.
He's drinking that haterade. He's drinking that swordsman haterade super hard.
Mm-hmm.
Also, Mantis, not a great parent too. She literally shows up after years being away. Hey, are you winning, son?
It's just committing murder and genocide.
Yes, Mom, I'm winning. Shut the fuck up. And they also really stress to this issue just the hopelessness of the situation, where it's like, look, you know, we could stop the Kotati, but the Kree and Skrull will probably use the Pyre on us anyway, just because.
Yeah. Who is it? It's Reed who says like, yeah, there would be like Skrulls and Kree who benefit from Earth's destruction. So either way, they're going to use it.
It's the ultimate damned if you do, damned if you don't situation. And I'm like, oh, that kind of sucks. And then where it's like, well, this possibly can't get any worse. Then they twist the knife. And then again, totally called this. She-Hulk turns out to actually be a sleeper agent.
See, thing is like that's such an obvious thing. And I never once thought about it. I was like, why isn't this like, why did I not think of that? That's so good.
The second in the Avengers book, she walked away and she's like, oh, they've taught me some new Kotati meditation techniques and they've given me a hammer. I'm like, she's compromised.
That's what like looking back at it, I'm like, how did I not pick up on this? And it makes sense. No one would suspect her because she's green already.
Because she's already green. That's so fucking Al Ewing. And that's so genius to be like, yeah, you know, we can resurrect dead bodies as, you know, like plant servants. And you couldn't tell because she's already green. And also, she was probably already dead, and I think Ewing will explain that more in his Immortal She-Hulk one-shot, because it's like, yeah, she died during Civil War too, didn't she? And she's just been walking around, as all the Hulks have now, as undead kind of corpses. And here's another thing. People got so upset with that in the comment section of my video, and I had to explain it to them, and I'm like, you motherfuckers aren't reading Immortal Hulk, are you?
No, of course not.
You're missing out on one of the best stories on the shelf right now, and also you're missing out on why this twist is actually brilliant.
Yeah, it explains like so much about her. It's so much about the stuff that people hate about her as well at the moment.
I'm surprised about it too because it basically means that Al Ewing got to essentially checkmark Jason Aaron and with what he was trying to do. Where it's like, no, she did this because she absorbed like celestial energy and da 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 da. Only for Al Ewing to be like, nope, she's been dead since Civil War II. Give me the reins of this.
Well, again, like it probably feeds into that where it's like she was able to like absorb celestial energy because she was dead or something. Like there was nothing inside her to hold her back or anything. You can like kind of work it so it all fits.
Again, that one shot that they're going to be doing, Immortal She-Hulk, is definitely going to be a must read for sure.
Absolutely.
Yeah, no doubt about it. I'm super excited for that one. What else did we have this week that you want to talk about, Matt?
We had Legends of the Dark Knights from Death Metal.
Matt, I do believe you mean the full title is Dark Knight's Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knight #1 because, that's not a fucking mouthful enough.
Yeah, it's shocking. These books just keep getting longer and longer titles.
I got mad. I hated having to write that all out multiple times in both my video and in writing about it. I'm like, this is too long. They should really have cut this in half.
I just called it Death Metal Legends of the Dark Knights.
Sure enough. But again, in the back of my mind, I'm like, oh, I don't want to hurt searchability. But yeah, so this is another big anthology story as we had with the original Dark Knight's Metal, as we've had for every major event. Here's a bunch of short stories to help fill in the blanks.
And they were all great, except for the T-Rex one, which was just a fucking tack on and didn't need to be on there at all.
Yeah, that was a one-pager. That felt like a middle finger to to Ellis, to being like, look, we would have liked to have given you a longer story, but unfortunately this guy turned out to be a sex pervert, so here's one page.
Yeah, so here's one page written by Marguerite Bennett.
Who is very good, and I'm like, well, why didn't you let Marguerite Bennett write a full story? And then I'm like, oh, because you probably had the whole book done and you couldn't wait.
That's exactly, they had it out to print and they just had to like give her a page.
Yeah, give someone in there. But so the first story is all about Dr. Batman Hatton, which again, I think Bat Hatton is a much more clever name, but they're like, no, but it already has Batman in it.
I'm like, yeah, but it's stupid. Bat Hatton is better. We came up with that.
Yeah, and you know what? And I think maybe that's part of it too. Bat Hatton is better because it's clever, but the point of it is it's schlock, as we keep saying. It's supposed to be stupid.
Yeah.
Batman Hatton is the dumber, sillier name, which means that's why it fits the story better.
Yeah, that's true. That's true.
That's why they picked it. If he wanted something cool and clever, Snyder would have gone with something cool and clever. He's actively trying to write schlock.
Yeah, which is great, because that's what this story was. It was schlock.
It was, all of these stories were different kinds of schlock, and I think if there was any illusion in anyone else's mind that Death Metal is supposed to be a fucking comedy, this will remove all of it, because these stories are all purposely bug nuts ridiculous.
Yeah, and it makes sense as well. They're in the dark multiverse, which is the twisted, like wild multiverse of like the inverse of the main multiverse.
Yeah, it's the wrong universe. And so, the first one is all about Batman Hatton, though not really. It's mostly about Batman who laughs, self-aggrandizing and telling us his origin story all over again.
Yeah, I like it that it's done in a way that's like, it's like, look, you know this, but we're going to tell it anyway because this character is still very popular.
Yeah, like literally the first half of that story is just him jerking himself off and being like, oh, and I was the coolest fucking Batman on my earth, and then I got Joker poison, but because I'm still Batman, I always win no matter what, but I'm evil, whoopity-doo. Yeah. And I overthrew Barbados, and I was going to overthrow Perpetua, but I need more crisis energy to do it. Luckily, I stashed away a Batman who got all obsessed with the button and recreated John Osterman's experiment and turned himself into Dr. Manhattan, but then I gave him a laser lobotomy. I just snuck up on him and did it.
Yeah, with his special multiverse knife that just somehow worked. I guess the idea is that it was in that moment just before he became Dr. Manhattan, because after he did it, he kind of turned blue.
Yeah. And he also kept his hair. I like Generation West is like, really, he becomes Dr. Manhattan and keeps his hair. Talk about bat privilege.
Yeah, but of course he kept his hair. That's bat hair.
Bad hair never goes away.
Mhm.
And then it's like, and I knew Wonder Woman would kill me because I'm the Batman who laughs and I'm so fucking good and I know everything, whackety schmackety. And now I'm the Darkest Knight and I'm gonna recreate the whole universe as a universe that laughs.
I do like, for some reason, people thought this was like Scott Snyder's final thesis on Batman. It's like, no, it's the final thesis on his Batman who laughs. And that's the part
Yeah.
where he realizes that like Batman's reactionary and like he's
Yeah,
a
yeah.
reaction to the bullet, but this time he wants to become the bullet.
Yes, I will turn Earths into bullets and shoot them at gods, which is the most fucking edgy teen boy thing I've ever heard.
Yeah, it's fucking great. It's fucking great.
Again, very, very silly, and I think many people miss that point that these are supposed to be silly. And again, in the same book where it's like Batman turns himself into a monster truck and Batman turns himself into a T-Rex.
And a baby.
Oh my god, the baby one from Garth Ennis is sheer perfection. Again, if you didn't know this was all a joke, then you really need to read this one again. It's like, I'm Batman. I plan for everything. I've got a younger body. Oh no, I turned myself into a baby. I can't lift my... The baby falls down the stairs.
Yeah, and it's too weak to lift its head, so all it can do is writhe there and cry.
What a fucking Garth Ennis story that is. Can you tell this guy maybe doesn't believe in heroes and that he's the perfect one to do this? I could just imagine him with his Irish brogue and my Batman's a little... Oh, no, that's my Scott... what is it? My...
Grant Morrison.
That's my Morrison. That one's not right. Just him being Irish there, being like, and my Batman, he's a little baby who's too weak to raise his fucking head and he dies in his own shite. Watch the boys, season 2 coming soon. The joke is Garth Ennis is not like a big like seller and self-promoter. He's not even on social media.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's a pure comedy. It's pure ridiculousness. That what is it? The whole Robin King one, equally ridiculous. Where it's like, oh, what's the most evil Robin, Matt? What could the most evil Robin possibly be?
Oh, it'll be Bruce Wayne who microwaves cats and pushes people off ladders.
Yeah. One who's basically like fucking Damien from The Omen. He's which again, talk about bat privilege. The most evil Robin is actually just a little Batman who hasn't grown up yet. Also, even Jim Gordon in that universe was an asshole.
Yeah.
Everyone was an asshole in that universe. Also, wait, you were the Robin King before you even became Batman? Really?
Yeah.
Which again, it's like you don't have to ask that question because it's all fucking jokes.
Yeah, it's all like jokes and schlock and everything. It's just having fun, which is what this whole event is just fucking having fun with these characters.
Yeah, it's again a lot of it, and some people don't get it, and some people don't like it, and I can't blame you because they didn't sell it as a comedy. You had to discover it was a comedy, which in fact I think is part of the joke.
I think them selling it like so seriously is part of the joke. Absolutely.
Because comedy's something he hasn't done yet, and to be like, yeah, death metal, the ultimate culmination of my story. It's gonna be death and metal and everything, and nah, it's fucking silly.
And it kind of makes sense as well, since they got, I'm not sure which one he's doing, but don't they have like Chip Zdarsky doing a book as well?
I want to say so. I could be wrong.
I'm sure I saw his name listed with like a bunch of death metal writers.
Right, so yeah, we'll definitely see where that goes. But yeah, Legends of the Dark Knight, totally silly because the event is silly, and that's what it's supposed to be. It's literally laughing at itself. You can't make fun of it because it's already making fun of itself. This event has a big red nose on, and it knows it. All right, what else did we have this week? We had the second part of Empyre X-Men, which I actually caught up on and actually read.
Yeah, it was great, isn't it?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun. Zombies going on there versus old women versus mutants.
Yep, yeah, it's got everything.
Friggin' Warren Worthington actually sings a pretty mean Barry Manilow. Sweet Caroline, ba-ba-ba.
Yep.
Or no, sorry, Neil Diamond, not Barry Manilow. I fucked that up in the video, and then I fucked it up again. Have you seen my favorite video, Matt, there? It's Sweet Caroline, but with guns. So instead of the ba-ba-ba, it's just bang, bang, bang. Turns into the hardest gangster song ever. But not really much to talk about this. There's zombies. They think that maybe if they can get Krakoa involved, they can maybe poison the roots of the Kotati ship.
Yep. We get a mention of like the old ladies think that the Kotati are like from the Chimera, Like Chimera somewhere on like some planet took root on multiple planets.
Yeah, which is a clever theory.
Yeah. Again, they like Hickman does such a good job of like tying. It's like doing his own stories with these horticulture stuff, and then tying it in with Empyre, and it like works. It like makes sense.
Yeah, it does, most definitely. And we get a taste of what X Corp could look like, but maybe not, because maybe that book's not coming out anymore.
He's like, here, have a taste. We're not gonna pay it off.
Yeah, but here you go. Here's what the team would have looked like, more or less. But yeah, it's fun. Not much more to say than that. It's interesting that, she showed up in issue 1, but we haven't seen Scarlet Witch yet. I know there's still 2 more issues to go, but I hope they just don't forget about her.
Yeah, well, see, that I think might have been something that like Hickman was wanting to pay off like with his own X-Men stuff, and that he used it as like a springboard for this Kotati stuff, and maybe we'll get a tease definitely in one of the last 2 issues, but then that might be something he builds towards going forward in his X-Men stuff, because that's a pretty big thing.
It is kind of like,
because isn't like Scarlet Witch like seen as like this like a boogeyman in like Krakoan like culture?
Oh yeah, they made her the Satan of the world. She's the great mutant pretender, the one who said no and made all the X-Men disappear, which is funny because I know some people are like, oh, her characterization is so wrong. Why is she so hung up on what is it, House of M and everything? I'm like, because they rewrote all of mutant history. For all we know, House of M happened last week.
Yeah, that's the thing. And as well as like, of course people are going to be like hung up on all this stuff. Like, it's not just like a little something she did. She like willed like mutants to not exist, and then like 16 million died.
Especially now too, where it's like, oh, all my friends and family are on this island paradise and I don't get to come because they've literally turned me into the Satan of their new mythology. I'm
a pariah in their eyes.
Yeah, so of course I'm going to do everything I can, even if that means, dabbling with the dark arts. Which makes a lot of sense, and I hope we get to see more of her story.
Yeah.
Funny, too, talk about characters playing double duty when they're like, oh, we need to bring out all the psychics to help feed the island to help us win. Selene was on there, and Selene was also still a villain in Captain America this week.
Well, that's the thing. Like, last week we had... again, it makes this whole event unreadable. We had Wolverine was in X-Men issue 10. He's on that planet, Sex Planet, with the Summers.
Yes, that's right.
But he's in Fantastic Four as a member of the Fantastic Four.
Oh yeah, I didn't catch that. Right. I mean, he's Logan. He pulls double duty. He can hang out on Sex Planet for a little bit, and then in the afternoon go to Earth.
I think I went on like a whole conspiracy rant and that being like, oh, maybe there's like 2 Wolverines because they're doing that whole thing in X-Force where there's might be 2 copies of each mutant because they can do that now, and this is what Xavier's doing. Look for the differences, people. Gay frogs and rain and.
That would be such a Hickman idea, too, to be like, how does Wolverine make it to so many teams? Because that was like a fan joke for the longest time. Oh, well, we can clone everybody now.
Yeah. You want the Age of Apocalypse Wolverine on your team? You got him.
Yeah, we can do whatever we want now. It's a fucking thing. Man, that would be such a crazy twist.
Yeah.
I imagine, too, Wolverine, he's like, well, I'm bored on Sex Planet now. I need to go get a 6-pack. And when he does, crap, the Kotati are invading. Guess I got to go do this now. That's how it works. That's how I always view it. Captain America continues to be fun, even if I had to remind myself what the fuck was actually going on in this book before it took the huge break that it did.
What was going on? Because, I can't fucking remember.
So, Selene, one of the vampire villains of the X-Men, who is also part of Alexandra and Alexa Lukin's Power Elite, she had helped bring Lukin back to life because he was the big, Brubaker villain, but accidentally ended up...
Red Skull and all that, and
brought Red Skull back. Red Skull is actually starting to act independently now.
Ooh.
And it's left open-ended if Lucan actually knows what's going on. But the big thing is like, okay, Selene, I helped you helped bring me back, so now she gets her payment, which is her own like commune in the middle of like the Rust Belt flyover country, middle America, where she's like, oh, it's called Adamsville, where men come to work like their granddaddies did, when work was hard and men were men and there was no unions and all you got was room and board. And basically it's that Rick and Morty joke where it's like, well, this is just slavery with more steps. And she's filling this thing called the Blood Marine, which is a diamond, where it's like, oh, whenever they stop working, I drain them. And, they think I just kicked them out. No, I pat them on the head and tell them they're being very good patriots and everything. And it's so fucking easy. This is the easiest thing I've ever done as a vampire. And Steve, Bucky, and Sam go undercover in the town to try and suss this out. And Captain America really wants to get the diamond back because a piece of Sharon Carter's soul is in it, because Selene stole some of that to help resurrect Lucan. So it's really personal for him. And yeah, that's basically where the issue ends. And I'm like, oh, that's fun and that's cool.
Cool. Awesome.
And Falcon gets the best line. He technically had it in the last issue, but it gets reiterated here, where Falcon's like, yeah, you know, it's only white people who get all hung up on the good old days, and we should go back to the way things were. You don't hear anyone else talking about that. I wonder why. And I'm like, well, there you go, Sam. You just won the whole issue. I guess it's good, too, for him and Falcon to be in, or for him and Winter Soldier to be in this book, because their miniseries got stopped.
Yeah, that hasn't come out for a while.
Yeah, you read the first issue and enjoyed it.
I read the first 2 issues.
Oh, there was 2 issues.
Yeah, the last one ended with them having to go to like some like spies who were like huge Captain America fanboys, and they like cosplay as him and everything.
That sounds fun.
Yeah.
I might have to check that out. So that was everything I read this week, Matt. Did you have anything else? Anything special?
Yeah, I got a couple more. I had The Flash issue 758.
Right, this is very close to reaching its big finale.
I think the finale is this coming week. I think Finish Line starts this coming week. Yeah, so this is the end of Legion of Zoom, even though it's not called the end of Legion of Zoom. It's like just part 2.
Right.
The villains have been the rogues who have been taken throughout time by Eobard Thawne have been taken to the present, and they've been attacking places around the central city, places that Barry realizes aren't related to the Flash, but they're related to Barry Allen.
Right.
And he even works it out that like the attack lasted for like 5 minutes and 13 seconds, 5/13 being May 13th, his birthday.
Oh.
So like he's kind of figured out that Eobard is after Barry, not Flash this time.
Nice twist.
So to stop him, he has to start thinking like Eobard, something he doesn't want to do. So he ends up getting his family out of town and just like trying to figure out where the villains would be, and he takes him back to his old house where he runs into Dawn and Don, who are Eobard Thawne's secret weapon against the Flash, his own kids. So they end up attacking him and like capturing him for Eobard, who somehow manages to vibrate at a frequency that allows him to possess Barry and take his body. I like his reasoning for it as well. He's like, so I've tried to be the Flash and I couldn't live up to the legend. There was always that legend looming over you. So now I'm going to become you. And he ends up possessing him and taking over his body. And Barry is, for all intents and purposes, killed and sent to the Speed Force graveyard zone place,
right,
where he runs into Max Mercury and Jesse Quick.
Oh, did they ever get Jay Garrick out? Last time I was paying attention, Jay Garrick was in there.
Well, yeah, that was the thing building up for like what do you call it? Generations and stuff. We had the stuff with him in like the 1940s, and as well as like the stuff in the present. So I don't know whether they're going to reference him. I have to imagine he's going to be in it. I have to imagine.
Because why would you do Speed Force Graveyard if that was the thing? Yeah.
So it's a damn fun issue. Damn fun.
And I'm looking at the comics for next week, and we got Death Metal 3, Flash 759, and
Yeah, awesome.
We got another Wonder Woman already, or 760. Oh no, that's a reprint.
No, that'll be like the next part of Mariko Tamaki's story.
Oh, holy shit, man. I really should catch up on that if that's coming out frequently.
Yeah, I think every 2 weeks.
Oh, that's good. Yeah. We got Empyre number 5, of course, next week.
Yeah, we'll be finished this in 2 weeks.
That is really hard to believe that we got one that came out as quickly as it did.
Yeah, nice quick event.
Indeed. We got another Empyre Avengers, another Empyre Captain America. Anything else? We got new X-Force and new Venom, and a new Marauders, I think.
Mm-hmm. When does Exo Sword start?
I feel like it's probably going to start right when Empyre ends. Probably going to start that week or the week after, probably.
Yeah.
Because we can't ever have a breather between events.
No, we can't. Go keep that moving. Go keep that moving.
Yeah, pay us money. Give us all your money. Did you have any other books there, Matt?
What else did I have? What else did I have? I had, where is it? I had Fantastic Four issue 22.
Oh yes, continuing with the Empyre tie-in.
Yeah, so the Franklin and Val Richards, as well as Wolverine and Spider-Man, get attacked by the Dark Harvest, who are like human. They're like a human sect of the Kotati who like worship
Oh,
them, and because of that,
interesting.
they've been given like plant powers. Like there's one that shoots like poisonous thorns, and one that can turn his hands and fingers into like vines. And they have come after the two children that the Richards took at the end of their Empyre book, the Korean Scroll
Mm,
Child,
from the
who are
Fight Club.
who are the chroniclers of all of their respective races' histories. And we find out why these people want them, and that is they want to probe their minds for all of the best Kree and Skrull super weapons to use and build for the Kotati. The first one being the Omniwave device that Captain Marvel
Mm,
made.
right.
And they end up taking the Kree child, while the Skrull child who got like almost murdered by Wolverine,
Uh-oh.
is like resting up and all that sort of stuff. Hulk and Ghost Rider appear and kind of beat back and make the assassins retreat. Although it's not Hulk and Ghost Rider, it's Val and Franklin using image inducers, which explains why they're not there.
Right.
Yeah, because you're like, wait, why are Immortal Hulk here and why is Johnny Blaze here? They can't be here.
Which also calling back to the fact that they were Fantastic Four members once upon a time.
Yeah, and because yeah, they were meant to respond to the alert, but because of what's happening in like Immortal Hulk, and because Johnny Blaze is alive? Question mark.
Yeah.
They couldn't respond, so it's up to Franklin and Val to fill in that team with Spider-Man and Wolverine, who get cool new costumes. They get like
I saw that.
blue versions of their costumes, which the Wolverine one I wouldn't mind if he kept. It's a pretty cool costume.
Perfectly primed for video game unlockable
Oh
costumes,
yes,
am I right?
yes. That Spider-Man one better be in that Avengers game.
Come on, make it happen. It's new.
Yeah, I kind of wish though he just got like the Fantastic Four costume with the paper bag.
That's fun. Fantastic bag, man. I like the white Future Foundation suit he had.
Yeah, that was a good costume.
Yeah, that is a good one. So was that everything you had from this week, Matt?
Yeah, I think that's pretty much everything I've read so far.
Yeah, I know. I still got more shit to read too, and stuff from last week I still got to
Yeah.
catch up on.
Yep.
But so yeah, everyone, that's the show. We've been talking for almost 2 hours right now. So thank you, everyone who stayed and hung out and spent your Sunday night with us. It's always highly appreciated.
Yeah, thanks.
As always, be sure to follow Matt and myself on Twitter and Facebook so you always know when a new episode is dropping. If you're a Patreon member, you'll get to listen to this in both audio and video before anyone else. Everyone else, the show drops Wednesday, 8 a.m. Eastern Standard Time with ads. If you do the Patreon thing, you get it ad-free. Speaking of ads, I try not to put many ads in it, but fucking YouTube has taken that power away from creators now. They're just putting ads on whatever the fuck they want now.
Oh, really? You can't place ads in long videos anymore?
Maybe you can manage them. I don't know, but more or less, it seems like you can't not have ads on long videos now.
Ugh.
YouTube, every new thing they add is terrible.
It's totally anti-consumer and anti-creative.
Yeah, so just be aware that me and all your other favorite YouTubers didn't suddenly all decide to become money-grubbing assholes overnight. The company run by the money-grubbing assholes foisted that upon us like a curse. We didn't want to. They made us do it. But yeah, so be sure to check that one out. We got a Amazon link down in the description there. Matt and I try and pick a book that we really like at the moment that you can pick up, and in doing so, support the channel. Another way, you get something, we get something, everybody wins. In fact, definitely buy something from that Amazon link soon, because I think I only have so many days before someone buys something through it, or else they'll shut it off.
Oh, go buy Pulp from Ed Brubaker. That was a good book.
Oh, was it? Yeah, I mean, it's Brubaker, so of
Yeah,
course
it's about a gunslinger from the surviving through the Old West into the 1940s, where he fights Nazis in New York.
Ooh, that sounds like my jam.
It's fucking awesome.
That also sounds like Ed Brubaker being like, "Hey, make a movie out of this, please."
Yeah. Oh man, it's primed for a movie. Go read it. It's fucking awesome.
I might just have to check that out now. I have too many other books to read, but yo, that sounds cool as hell. All right, so on that note, everyone, we'll start winding down the show. Thank you so much for coming and checking us out. We'll be back again next week, same time, same place. We might have an interview next week if everything works out. In fact, actually, I might be recording 2 interviews now. One with Jason Inman that was supposed to go up tonight but didn't happen, and another mystery one that you might be able to suss out. I got to do that one in a couple days.
Nice.
So, yeah, be sure to keep an eye out for that, everyone. So until then, bye-bye.
Bye.